What's the? So I'm just in.
So the premise behind Dear Zachary is there's a guy. This is kind of it's the setup. Is there's a guy who his best friend from childhood that he grew up with died, and so this guy has a son, and so what he wants to do is he wants to make a video for this guy's kid, so the kid knows how great his father was. So that's kind of what launches this movie, and then from there, shit just
there's a few
gets
twists
crazy.
and turns after that. That sounds like a wonderful movie, actually.
That's a beautiful film. I want to watch that,
dude. Man, I saw it on a beautiful summer day, not a cloud in the sky, and I was fucking pretty much bawling like a baby.
It's brutal. He's like sending me. Then he starts tweeting me like, "You're an asshole."
Yeah, I was mad. Wow, fucking mad.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I think I took that one where I stood up with a pounding erection. I'm like, who's going to take care of this?
But as far as the film, though,
it's excellent.
It was put together really, really well,
so
beautifully, actually. But man, the story itself, oh god, how hateable.
There's nothing worse than a bad documentary, though. Like a good documentary like that, like is amazing, but a bad documentary just really fucking ruins your week.
But I can't think of a bad documentary.
I don't get through them. You go on Netflix, you watch a lot of them, and some of them are really good. Then you watch a forgettable one, and you go like, "Oh, this."
Maybe they're so forgettable that I don't remember that I ever saw a bad documentary.
Yeah, I think it's
But I pick and choose my documentaries to begin with. So.
Yeah, I go so much off like recommendations of friends of mine. It's I don't usually just go fishing. Yeah.
If it looks interesting, I'll watch it. Like, I get in those things. HBO usually has really good ones. Very rarely do they. Sometimes it's just not something I care about. Like, I didn't care about the Jay-Z and Beyonce's tour or like Madonna's tour.
The last one I watched, I'm sorry, fellas, was Blackfish. That was the last one.
That was good.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.
That's a good one.
I saw.
Yeah, it made me hungry.
Who wants to get some tuna? Who wants to get some whale?
Well, there was that, and boy, SeaWorld taking a fucking beat. A good documentary can really ruin something.
Yeah.
SeaWorld took a beating.
You think their numbers are down, though?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You think?
They're down? They were down last year, and they're down even more this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, McDonald's took a beating after your documentary.
Yeah,
They did, right?
Right. They still after you?
And they're still
pissed at
They
you?
don't call. They don't call. They don't write. They don't come see me. They don't.
They
send
never threatened you with legal action, did they?
No, but it was interesting at the premiere of that film. Now this is 11 years ago. There were two people that paid $1,000+ a ticket. Like this guy came up to me. He goes, "Man, I can't believe it. Somebody gave me $1,000 for my ticket." And I was like, "Who's paying $1,000 to come see this silly movie at Sundance?" And then you see in the movie, my friend, he's like, "Yeah, I was sitting next to these two people with legal pads. All they did was take notes the whole time."
No shit.
And so these are like their lawyers that were in the movie. The whole time they're just like, turn the page.
Wow.
The whole time just taking note after note after note.
Were you nervous?
I mean, you can sue anybody for anything in this country. So I mean, you never know what will happen. And I mean, they're also a big giant corporation who were really litigious. And I mean, yeah, we thought that maybe we'll get sued.
Did you ever go back to McDonald's?
No, March 2nd, 2003 is the last time I set foot in.
Wow, not one bite since then.
Not one bite.
You're just sick of it, right?
Yeah. There's so many better burgers out there. It's like, why bother?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, they're trying to come around now. They're trying to keep up with the newer places.
Come on, they got kale. They got kale coming in. That's the big news.
What?
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure people
fry that up.
I'm sure people that go to McDonald's are going to want kale.
Deep fried kale. That's what I want.
Well, like they're taking all the antibiotics out of the chicken supposedly in the next couple of years.
It's one of those things where it's like that's a news announcement. They're like, oh, and by the way, we're going to take all the terrible things out of that chicken.
Oh,
like,
thanks.
Why weren't you doing that before?
Hey, they're saying we got to wrap up, but back to the Scientology movie. Isn't the owner's wife missing or something? And I heard they didn't
Miskovich, he's the president. Isn't he the president?
The president or something, and they didn't even mention it in the documentary.
I didn't even know his wife was missing. That's
I don't know what happened with that. I remember hearing something about it, but then I've heard that she was seen, like, I think David Miskovich is who you're talking about. We interviewed his niece, Jenna came in.
Supposedly she wasn't in the documentary either, according to the tweets I got on this thing.
His niece wasn't. I don't think she was in the film.
We had her in. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, the eyes.
I also wasn't
crazy.
I don't know. They were staring at something, and it wasn't us.
Wow.
She was nice, though. I shouldn't trash her, but like there was something with the eyes.
I felt that was kind of, and I could be crazy and paranoid, but I was like, was she kind of just one of the ones who was sent out there to put like, hey, this is a real expose? Because I didn't feel like they gave you much in her book. It was like when Morton wrote that book about Tom Cruise's unauthorized biography.
Oh, yeah.
He came to the conclusion that Cruise was straight, which, again, he may be. But, I mean, no matter what you say, if that's the conclusion you come to, I have a feeling that they're going to be happy with that and not go after you.
Right.
Yeah, or it's just completely paid for by the church, and it's like that both these people just write for them, and it's
possibly, yeah,
propaganda.
I don't know, because like the expose, especially this one that Jerry Miscavige, I didn't think, or Miscavige, I was wasn't particularly, didn't blow the doors off or tell me anything other than they're strict and they're kind of dicks,
right?
Nothing really bad.
But you guys aren't here for that.
We're here for the amazing Derek Gaines' new show.
Yes. No, you know, I'm just a part of a bigger puzzle, and I'm just I appreciate you letting me be a part.
You're a corner piece, though. You're a corner piece, though.
That's an excellent piece. That's an excellent, very diplomatic, smart thing Derek just said. But I'm a comedian. I understand. Every time the dads are on, he's going, "Why the fuck are we watching these two? I have a great comedy career that we should be watching. Who wants to see this shit?" I understand. It's okay, but you gave the right response.
Well, the new show definitely sounds very good. It's called Connected. First 4 episodes premiere today on AOLoriginals.com. Yeah. And Derek Gaines, you're obviously one of the first 4 episodes, right?
Yeah, I'm in. They put me in the pilot episode and the second one. So that was some funny stuff that happened. I got some pops last night.
Oh, you do. You don't have the same people all throughout the entire series.
No,
switch.
But no, it's the same 6 in the whole, same 6 people in all 20 episodes.
Oh, it is. Okay, cool.
Wait, how does that work?
Because we follow them for 6 months.
Oh, okay.
So it's not every episode I'm gonna be in it, but the
so
story.
You guys are jumping around.
Yeah.
Between 6 different people's stories. Like
Lost.
there's usually 3 storylines that you'll follow over the course of the show.
All right, very cool. Oh, good. I thought his whole life was 25 minutes. I'm like, what? Give Derek a little more time.
No, it's through a course of 6 months.
That's great. Okay.
We go from nothing to...
it's Derek One Gaines on Twitter, and of course Morgan Spurlock. And you're coming back for a whole show one of these days. We're sort of in contact. We're going to figure that out,
We're going to figure that out. Yeah.
Okay. Because I want to talk more about the honeybees.
Yes, done. When I'm back, we will
Did you get
plan
stung?
that soon. I didn't get stung once. It was amazing.
I think you said that on the show, but I don't know if I...
Everybody else in my crew got stung like crazy. I didn't get stung one time.
I don't get it, man. They start lifting up those panels or whatever.
And they get stung?
Yeah, it's like I didn't get stung at all. Yeah.
Well, then he's with people that don't even need anything anymore.
They're not wearing any gloves. These guys
Nothing. And they're not getting stung?
No.
They just know how to fucking handle the honeybees.
Yeah, they're like bee whisperers. Yeah, it's amazing.
I would freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure you release some kind of chemical, and that makes them really want to sting you.
That's right. The smoke.
No, I mean you the human being.
Oh yeah, no, it's
like
they smell my crazy pale freak scaredness, and it's like all they want to do is come after you. Did you see that Indiegogo? There was it was the most money ever raised on either Kickstarter or Indiegogo, which is like $5 million for these people who invented a beehive where you don't have to take the plates out to get the honey. Basically, there's a nozzle that comes out now, and it's almost like honey on tap.
Wow!
So basically, there's a tube that comes out, goes right into a jar, and basically you just turn the tap on, and honey comes out. It's amazing.
Do they go on Shark Tank?
They should. Like
no, they shouldn't.
How do they
Shark
do
Tank
that?
owns you if they.
No, they don't. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
In the beginning, Shark Tank used to say they got a piece of the company, and now because the entrepreneurs wouldn't go on the show.
Oh, okay.
And so then they got rid of that.
Oh, okay.
And now they're getting better companies, better things coming on.
Go.
No, exactly. This honey thing. How do you get it out without killing all the bees?
How do you get the honey out of the thing?
That tap thing, yeah.
Oh, because the bees, basically the way that these screens are set up, the bees can't go into the screen where the honey comes out. Because basically it's a honeycomb that basically now just sucks it from the inside.
Oh, I see.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's genius.
I'm getting yelled at. They're saying you really got to go.
So
you got a lot of press today.
Get that pale idiot out of the house.
Yes, and Morgan.
Connected. First 4 episodes. Once again, premiere today on AOLoriginals.com. I'll definitely be watching. Come back and see us, Derek.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
More with Opie and Jim after this. In case you missed it, recently this happened on Opie and Jimmy.
He might have done the knuckle graze that old Jimmy Norton did when he was in high school. The old double knuckle graze across the cheeks.
Yeah, or you're walking in a crowded bar and you do that. You got to, you put your hand.
Dude, I would go home and jerk
cheeks.
off. It's called frottage, and I would go home and jerk off and think about the asses I bumped. And if I got a double cheeker, that was like a really great for like a couple of loads.
This was in school?
Oh, yeah.
In the hallway, like in between classes?
Over one cheek, and then if I felt the crack and then went to the other cheek, that was a good graze. I would go grazing every day.
Really?
But there'd have to be a pack, though, right? It wouldn't just be some girl like walking down the hallway, just you and her.
You'd think.
So it wasn't even a crowded hallway, because that's when you could pull it off.
One time, I told you, I walked by, we had a substitute gym teacher who turned out to be a full-time gym teacher who was gay. And it was in the swimming pool area, and her ass in a bikini was so nice. It was probably a one-piece bathing suit. And I'll never forget walking by her. It was her standing at the edge of the pool, and me walking by her. No one else was there, like in that area. And I gave her a fucking double cheek graze. Wow. I couldn't help it. And I felt her turn around and look. And I knew that if I turned around and looked, I was dead.
Right.
I knew if I acknowledged it, I felt her stare, and I kept walking like I didn't have a care in the world.
Like it was an accident.
Total accident.
But if you did look, if you look back, then everyone knows what you just did.
She would have screamed at me, and probably I would have gotten in trouble. But I just kept walking, and I just never looked back. But I think I might have grabbed her ass once in the hall, too, but that was in a crowd. That was a teacher ass. I grabbed like 1 or 2 teacher asses in my life.
Wow.
But that was in a crowd.
None of the teachers said anything.
Oh, they might have, but I mean, it might have just been like a really good pat graze, like not a full. One girl's ass I grabbed, like I actually felt it, and she's like, "Who did that?" She was a senior, and I was a freshman. I had such a big crush on her. I thought she was so sexy.
That's brave, man.
No, that was a crowded auditorium, like dark. There was almost no chance of getting caught unless my hand fell off. No, I kept it under my hat.
You did?
The only way to get caught is if, like, Walking Dead, if my arm would have just broke off and got stuck to her ass. But that was the only way. I was very careful.
That's really brave.
Yeah.
And then you would go home and jerk off, thinking about that?
Rolodex, flip. Oh yeah, there was Kim. Flip. Oh yeah, there was Mrs. whatever her name was. Kaduk, the old double cheeker. Yeah. But I mean, I kind of understand that, so maybe that's what he did.
But you never jerked off in school? Because I can't see you waiting to get home.
No, I went to Linwood Middle School, and I lived 4 houses away, middle school.
Yeah.
So I would cross the street, go home for lunch, tug my prick, and feel embarrassed that everybody knew I had jerked off when I went back. And I would come all over my sheets, and then leave I would just wipe it up with my sheets. I've told the story before, but then my grandmother one time was helping me change my sheets, and she saw the giant crusty load, and I was like, "Oh, I spilled Pepsi in my bed." I told her,
Pepsi?
Yeah, Pepsi.
I think Grandma knew.
Of course she did.
Okay.
She probably smelled it from outside the room.
So you would go home at lunchtime and jerk off and then come back?
Yeah, and yeah.
How often?
4 out of 5 days a week.
And your parents weren't home, or were they home at?
I think my mother was home.
What was your excuse that you had to go home 4 or 5
Not
days
just for
a
lunch.
week?
It was so quick, dude. You could literally see it was right across the street. It was so close.
Oh, that's very convenient.
Yeah.
Did they ever wonder, like, why wouldn't you just want to have lunch with your friends at school?
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember.
Do you? Okay. Sorry.
She wanted to go home and jerk off instead.
Yeah.
Listen to Opie and Jimmy every morning here on Opie Radio. We're back with Opie and Jim.
Here you go, Jim Norton.
Gonna swallow my tears. I'm gonna turn and leave you here.
I woke up with this in my fucking head, and it just that little part.
I kind of like that song.
Is that the Motels?
No,
No,
it's Quarter Flash.
Quarter Flash.
Well,
It's not a
yeah.
bad song. It was just you don't want to wake up with it in your head.
I don't know if you should say it's not a bad song. I think most people would say, "Oh my God, it's a horrendous song." But
I like it.
It's catchy, and I kind of liked it for a while there back in the day. That's for sure. Guilty pleasures, they say. Florentine in studio. So how was Syracuse? It was good, huh?
Syracuse is great.
Yeah, it's
Great comedy town.
Yeah, a lot of fans up there. They're
Ton of
very
fans.
very very cool in the Syracuse area.
This guy that's worked at Applebee's for 12 years came up to me after the show and gave me an Applebee's hat to give to Sam.
Nice.
And he said I wanted to let Sam know, that over 80% of the food that they serve at Applebee's is frozen.
Frozen.
Yes.
It's not frozen on my plate.
Now what?
But he said, make sure you tell Sam that.
By the time it gets to me, it's sizzling hot. By the time it's time to eat good in the neighborhood, it's not frozen.
All right.
Eat good in the neighborhood. Is that one of their slogans?
One of eating good in the
I
neighborhood.
wouldn't know. Thank God.
I want my baby back, babe. That's Chili's.
Guess what my kid was asking for last night again? Happy Meals.
Yeah, Happy Meals are dope.
Hey, idiot. I don't want my kid to know about Happy Meals at 4.
They're the shit.
No, they're not the shit. There's plenty of times for the kid to have Happy Meals, but my babysitter took him to McDonald's over the weekend, Friday, while we were seeing Voss do his comedy special at the Stress Factory, and now that's all he's talking about. She broke the seal. We were making sure we avoided the whole McDonald's thing. That's all he's asking for now is Happy Meals.
A babysitter really should not be bringing kids to McDonald's for the first time.
Thank you.
That's like giving him his first cigarette. Like, no, it looks cool.
What? That's something Daddy should do.
That's right. You should, but
you should bring him to Disney World, and you should be the one bringing him to McDonald's. Is that what you're saying?
No, I just meant because McDonald's it sets him up on this terrible.
Nothing against McDonald's, but I don't want my fucking kid eating there.
You mean nothing against McDonald's?
Nothing against them, but I don't want them fucking eating there because it's all shit food.
Should have told her no.
I know, we got lazy. Jimmy Norton's right. We should have just said no, but we're too busy, socializing with Voss and Bonnie.
It's delicious. When your metabolism is good, you don't have to worry about it, and it comes with a toy. So there's nothing that you're going to say that's going to make him be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to just have McDonald's sparingly.
I know that. That's why you make believe it doesn't even exist.
You got to make your own. You got to make your own Happy Meal. Give him like a baggie with kale and a ball.
When you go to McDonald's, Sam, do you go in the tunnel with the kids too?
I can't fit anymore. Otherwise,
you
probably could fit.
You mean in the play place?
Yeah, in the play place.
You
go
can
in
fit
there
still.
You think so?
Yeah, you got slim hips.
All right. I thought I had wide hips and slim everything else.
Sam has bitch hips.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does he have birthing
hips?
He's got birthing hips?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's not slim.
Sam's hips were fucking meant to be held as he's being fucking filled with seed.
Oh my God.
You make it sound so romantic.
Morgan Spurlock mentioned that McDonald's is introducing kale. Could you look that up?
Yes. They are, yes.
But what are they going to do with the kale? They're going to deep fry it or something? They're not going to just serve kale.
They're replacing
lettuce. Put it in a salad, yeah.
They're replacing lettuce.
Or they'll throw down the crispy chicken. Get the crispy chicken with kale.
Yeah, but then the croutons, everything else makes their salads really, really unhealthy. So what the fuck is the kale going to do?
It's good for nutrients.
All right. We got the Chicago sports jocks apologizing. We started the show with that, so listen to the replay. But basically, you got two guys on Sports Talk, just being guys, talking about this local sports girl on TV and how she's probably not that great at her job, but she has giant boobs and all hell broke loose. That's basically what we talked about the first hour today. And we found the apology. So here we go. It's from Spiegel, during Spiegel and Jason Goff's crosstalk segment, whatever that is. This is Bernstein apologizing.
Speaks, I know you talked about this earlier, and I think there are a lot of people who want me to address the Twitter kerfuffle from last night.
Oh, yeah.
It's about time somebody addressed that kerfuffle.
They deserve everything they got. Fuck them. Why are we sticking up for them?
You think they deserve the entire kerfuffle?
Yes, because they're using that stupid word.
What word?
Kerfuffle.
Last night.
Yeah, let me say that I spoke about it in segment one. That's out there. So at 9:00 this morning, I also tweeted a link to it and took responsibility for some stuff that I am ashamed of from last night.
Yeah, you're not ashamed whatsoever. Someone came to you and said, "Hey, in this new world, we're going to fire you for that unless you get figure out how to get yourself out of this." He's not ashamed. It's bullshit.
From last night.
Yeah, I'm an idiot, and there are certain times where you can be childish and crass, and other times where it's just really stupid to be a child. And my tweet was childish. My tweet was crass and unnecessary, and I'm sorry I dragged an innocent person into it who was doing a job, and I made an observation I shouldn't have made, and it was childish and silly and stupid.
There you have it.
Yeah, but
that's not that bad of an apology. That's not that groveling. That's pretty honest.
But
that was stupid.
But when is it okay to be childish and crass? You're saying there is a time for it. So when? So just not there when you're tweeting it, but at home you could talk about her tits when no one's around.
It's a very good
and that's
question.
Okay.
I think it was perfectly fine to be childish.
It sounds more like
in that spot.
He's not upset about actually saying what he said. He's upset about the kerfuffle that followed.
Right.
Which he should be apologizing for what he said if he's sorry about it, and not. I mean, the kerfuffle was just what happened after it,
Yeah. Every time you say that word, I'm picturing your death.
Really?
When is sports radio going to get to the point where you're going to be bullying the athletes when you rip them apart?
No kidding.
It's going to happen.
It's getting there.
When callers calling in and saying that Geno Smith is the worst and he shouldn't be in football.
Right.
Oh, his family's listening, and he's got kids and stuff. That's going to. That's bullying if you think about it.
They fucked up the shock jocks and the guy talk in general. So I just assumed that at least the sports guys, these guys still could say some shit.
They're going to say it's hate speech, all this other stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, she was yelling sexual harassment and cyberbullying. Those guys don't think she does a very good job on TV, but wow, look at those big boobs. That's basically what they were saying. The other guy apologized, I think, next year.
I criticized her work and her presence on air, and that we do that with broadcasters all the time. I started there, and And then you tweeted at me, and I should know better than to ever respond to you because I always get.
Now I'm to blame for your thoughts?
Oh no! Don't misunderstand me. I always just get in trouble because something in me, our relationship is.
You react to me, and it makes it okay. Sure.
And it's something. I am not deflecting blame. I'm just noticing that, because it brings you trouble. Well, no, and our culture around here, and maybe that's the broader stuff that could end up getting discussed if we want at some point. But we drag each other down and up.
But this is,
you know what I mean?
But my words are my responsibility, and my words were stupid, and there's nobody else to blame for any difficulty that I might be going through because of my stupidity. It's entirely on me, and I own it, and I wish I would have had a second thought about sending it, and I am learning my lesson about what is appropriate, what is inappropriate to say, and I feel bad about it.
They're just trying to save their jobs, that's all.
I know. And there's more clips, but I'm just bored with this.
Yeah, I am too.
They just they didn't even do that properly. They made it very boring. They're finally in the news up there in Chicago, and they're making this boring.
I think they just want to brush it under the rug. The last thing they want is for the apology to lead to another kerfuffle,
No, you are right. Head crushed. Between a train and a platform.
Yeah.
That was what I pictured when you said that.
There you go. There's more clips. We don't need it. It's fine. Whatever.
We got the message.
Yes, we got the message, of course. Anyone watch the Bieber roast? I heard there were some good jokes.
Yeah, it was good.
Did you watch?
Yeah.
Who had the best set?
I missed a couple. My TV went out at some point, but everyone did really well.
It was an easy subject, though.
It was.
Not to downplay what those guys do because they're really, really good at it, but
it's also, it might be a little tougher because all the jokes have been made,
right? And
you have to go up and be funny. You can't just make the jokes that have already been made,
right?
And you also everybody's doing the same things. So
how was Biebs with his response?
Biebs is good.
I think he's going to turn a lot of people around with this, right?
He took it well.
But then did you see his apology? Let's get serious for a moment.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's probably why he agreed to do that. That was probably why. So, for him, he doesn't need to roast.
He gave a little speech at the end.
Saying what?
Just basically, I don't know, something about life in general and stuff like that. It didn't really fit in with the roast, but it was 45 seconds.
Right.
I don't know.
He apologized for the moments that he's not proud of.
Wow.
And said he's going to change for everybody. And
I think this is going to be a big deal for him.
I liked...
he still has to come up with another hit song, though. It's been a while.
Pete,
right?
What is it? I'm blanking on his last name. Pete
Davidson.
Pete Davidson did 9/11 jokes about his dad.
Wow.
It was really good.
Really good.
Wow. Do we have that?
Oof.
Yeah.
It was brutal. I think, you know what, he might have did that because he probably thought that someone was going to go there, so let me just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Possibly. Being a new guy. Because he went first or second, but really good jokes.
Good.
Very
Him
smart.
And Natasha Leggero and Hannibal Buress were both really good because they were mean.
That'd be 3.
I didn't say 2.
You said him and Natasha Leggero and Hannibal Buress were both very good.
Chris D'Elia did 2 ISIS jokes.
And what about Martha Stewart? I heard
Martha was great. Martha's opening joke was great, too.
What was it?
It was just about...
being rich?
Yeah, being rich, and... You explain it, Sam.
Well, she said that there's a term for Justin Bieber's behavior and how rich he is. She goes, I don't think it's African American rich.
Yeah, well, no, she said that about Kevin Hart. So when Kevin Hart first got money, he bought a $150,000 car or something like that.
But she said African American rich, which is obviously
right.
And everybody laughed because.
And Kevin was great hosting the show.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, of course it would be. All right, here's Pete Davidson.
There's a lot of tattoos. You have patience tattooed on your neck, and this doesn't count, right above his asshole. No, but Justin's more models than bulimia. He's the only thing they swallow and don't throw back up. Justin, I lost my dad on 9/11, and I always regretted growing up without a dad. Until I met your dad, Justin. Now I'm glad mine's dead.
And he's got another one.
And now for the greatest transition in the history of comedy. 2 people from the movie Soul Plane are here. Right?
Oh, well.
That was it.
You got to watch a commercial. They building commercials.
They just slapped an ad right before that was the best punchline.
Oh my God!
Wait, so
why would you
can't
do
see
that
it now?
You have to watch the ad.
We have to watch a 30-second ad.
The fuck?
What fucking
That
assholes.
is bad.
Terrible.
Right before the punchline.
Yeah,
you're gonna say.
Jesus. There we go. Maybe.
You have patience tattooed on your now for the greatest transition in the history of comedy. Two people from the movie Soul Plane are here, right? Kevin, Snoop, Soul Plane was the worst experience of my life involving a plane.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You know, until this very moment, I didn't even know he lost his dad in 9/11.
He was fireman.
Yep, no idea. Who else could we check out real fast?
We can go with Hannibal. You could listen to Martha Stewart's thing.
Which one would you suggest?
Martha Stewart was good. I know our opening joke was really good.
All right.
Kevin is one of the biggest movie stars in the business right now, and he deserves it. He's struggled for years. When he finally got his first big paycheck, he spent $150,000 on a watch. I forget that term for that. It's not African American rich. It'll come to me. Justin, you know the word. I know you're all wondering why I'm here tonight. It's because Martha Stewart changes people's lives for the better. Like Shaq, for instance. When Shaq bought his house, Shaq, are you listening? I was the first person he called. The house had 13 bedrooms, and I helped convert 8 of them into refrigerators. I believe the bedroom is the most important room in the house, but I don't have to tell you that, Ludacris. You have 3 kids with 3 different women. May I suggest pulling out some time and finishing on some fine, highly absorbent Martha Stewart bed linens?
Wow! Holy wow!
Great joke.
She just said, "Fuck it," huh?
Yeah.
And what was Ludacris's problem? He's been
Paul
bitching ever
Walker
since the
jokes.
roast.
Well, yeah, because he wasn't happy with Paul Walker jokes.
Right. Well,
So there weren't. I mean, they pulled every Paul Walker joke.
I know they did. So maybe he should have not been part of the roast then.
Yeah.
Right? Does he understand what a roast is? Pete Davidson's making fun of his dad who he lost at 9/11.
Yeah.
All right. That was good. I got to watch the whole thing still.
He was good.
Yeah. Where's Sam?
He's been outside.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
No one told me.
Yeah, he's been outside for 20 minutes.
Sam, let's bring him in. I had no idea. Sam, sorry to make you wait. I didn't even know you were out there.
Did Roland not even let you know?
I did not know. I had no idea.
What's Roland doing?
I just assumed he was late.
No.
What's up, Sam?
How are you?
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We were just checking out the Justin Bieber roast. Did you watch?
I saw a couple sets, and my favorite joke was when Jeff Ross told Snoop he looked like a retired WNBA player. That was great. I love that.
That was very good.
I don't want to watch guys doing a roast. I feel like, fuck, I'd rather be doing it. You know, I get too anxious watching stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, yeah, I just saw Jeff, and I loved how mean-spirited Hannibal was. I love that.
Oh, was he mean?
Oh, he was so mean. He was just like I love when it gets serious at the end of a roast, and he was just like, "I don't like you."
Right? He said that.
Yeah. I don't. He just kept repeating, "I don't like you."
Can we see that real fast?
He's like, I don't like your face. It's weird. I don't like your music. Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah.
Let me just see this really fast.
He had to go on last too.
Man of the hour, Justin Bieber, you dainty wigger, you. Justin Bieber, they say that you roast the ones you love, but I don't like you at all, man. I'm just here because this is a real good opportunity for me. Justin! Oh, you got to give it up for Justin. He started from the bottom, and he's still a bottom. I don't like your music, man. I'm not a big fan of it. I listen to some of it. I'm not a fan. I don't like your music. I think it's bad. I think it's bad, man. I don't like it. I hate your music, man. I hate your music more than Bill Cosby hates my comedy.
That's fucking hilarious.
That takes balls.
Very funny.
Yeah, Justin he looked a little uncomfortable during that. Right?
Yeah, because he probably is like, who is this guy?
Yeah,
attacking me. He's got Shaq. He's got these iconic figures, and then Hannibal. He might kind of know.
Right, is the one that's really taking.
Oh yeah, giving him a real beating.
Heavy shots.
Good for Hannibal. He's very funny.
Anyway,
yeah, I didn't watch it. I heard Natasha was funny too.
Yeah, she was. She was mean too.
Was she?
She's good.
Mean's good when it comes to roast, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of refreshing because everything's so PC, and then roast, you should at least be kind of allowed to say whatever, you know?
Plus, everybody's got that sort of like winking, like, yeah, we're busting balls, but we're friends. And so sometimes it's really fun when a comic goes up and goes, no, we're not friends.
Yeah.
Louis did that at Jeff Ross. We roasted, it was a Barry Katz roast. This was back in 2000 at Boston Comedy Club.
I remember that, yeah.
And I think it was his roast, but Louis just went on and just blasted him and just started attacking Jeff Ross. But it was really, because it was just Louis being Louis. He's like, you're no good. You stink. You're terrible. You're terrible. But he was just being honest. It was kind of uncomfortable and funny and mean.
Yeah.
It always feels good.
There's a fine line between does he mean this or is he just doing this for the roast, right?
Right. And I think he meant it.
Of course, yeah.
We before you came in, we were talking about these Chicago guys had to apologize. When your whole thing happened with that stupid rape joke blogging, did you have to apologize ever for that?
No, I didn't apologize. I think it's so stupid to apologize because I wasn't sorry. It was a joke I'd written. It wasn't like I went on a drunken riff or something. That was a polished joke that so I thought to apologize would be stupid.
Good.
Could you explain that for the people that don't know? And
yeah,
most
this woman
do, but
saw me at the Comedy Cellar it was like a couple years ago, and she just thought I was a misogynist, but I was like, a lot of these people, when they write you up, they take the jokes out of context.
Sure.
They take out they have no sense of irony whatsoever. I told a joke where I said, there were two jokes she hated. One, I said I never wore a condom with my ex-girlfriend because she was on the pill, Ambien. That was one of the jokes, which is a pretty simple misdirect. That's pretty harmless.
Yes.
And the other one was I was having sex with a black woman, and while we had sex, she kept dropping the N-word. She was like, no. and the whole point of the joke is I'm like, you guys were scared I was going to say the N-word, and then you're like, thank God it's a rape joke.
Right,
You know, there's like that fake relief.
Mm-hmm.
And she posted that joke without the tag, without the part where I say, thank God it's a rape joke.
Right.
And then, and even when I read it, I was like, yeah, I still kind of stand by the joke. I'm not really sorry for it.
It's a funny joke.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, it's so weird to do it. Like, also, I'm a nobody. It was kind of in the Comedy Cellar. It's a room of like 120 people. To put it on that scale was insane to me.
That's also a misdirect, by the way. The N-word joke is another misdirect. It's like you think you're going here and you go there. It's just it's harmless.
Yeah, she seemed like she just had an agenda, and it was also weird to me. It's like, well, you want to go after Tosh? She has a national audience. This was me. I've no national audience, especially even less at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and her, it just seemed like this is what she does.
Right.
I looked at other articles she'd written, and it seemed like it
got a lot of attention, though.
Yeah, it got a lot of attention. I wrote a response, I guess just like comics talk, and then they were like, oh, we saw what you responded to, and then Jim went on Kumail Bell's show.
Yes. Yeah, with Lindy.
You handled that beautifully, by the way. That was awesome. That was like that could have gone either way. Whenever a comic's on, you're like, all right, and you handled it like such a pro.
Well, you know what it is. Thank you. But I knew that audience wanted to hate me, and when you're in a situation where they're applauding certain things, the other person, like, you understand that the crowd has a certain energy, and it's not pro Jim Norton.
Oh yeah.
So you got to that could go terribly, really fast if you don't just be calm and not. Because I knew I thought I was on the right side of the point.
Right.
I felt, at least, sticking up for the jokes or the idea of the jokes.
They're coming after you guys more and more, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I really didn't think I'd see the day. They went after radio guys. I'm like, oh, yeah, but they'll never go after stand-ups. That's nuts. But now they're going into your homes, basically, and fucking trying to get you in trouble for funny lines.
Yeah, it almost has like a prohibitionary. That's probably not even a word, but when you have a club that there's no groaning, everyone's on board. It almost feels like a prohibition feel.
Right. Yeah, people that are comedy fans, they know what they're going to get when they go in these clubs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's a weird mentality. That Homelander mentality is weird to me. Where like she chose a lot. I said a lot of offensive things that night. I think if you're going to pick and choose, and for her to focus in on the one that fit her agenda, again, it's like it's a weird mentality to me.
Right.
You know? Like that she decides. I think Colin Quinn said like, well, who in Montreal thing, he's like, well, why do you get to choose where the line is drawn? Mm-hmm. And then you said something like it's all okay or none of it's okay, and that's
I was
like
quoting Matt and Trey from South Park. That was what they said about, and they were right.
Right.
It's a brilliant quote about
absolutely
what you can make fun of.
Yeah, you can't just pick and choose.
Right.
You can't.
It is weird that they went after Sam at that point in your career too. Like, remember they went after Corolla a couple years ago because he made fun
Asian
of.
joke, right?
No, I think it was a transgender or something like that.
It was transgender,
and they were trying to go after him, and they're like, "All right, well, he's got his own podcast with his own sponsors. What are you going to take a couple .coms away from? They don't give a shit,
right?
And they really couldn't do anything.
Right.
He has his own network." So they had nothing, so they just had to just back off because there was nothing they could take away.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't give in, they don't usually. How long can they pursue it when you're just going, I'm not sorry, it was a dumb joke and fuck you?
Well, yeah, this is what's going to happen, though. The podcast world, it's like the wild, wild west because everyone's owning their shit and everything. But you watch, the big companies are going to come in and really start gobbling up these guys because they could pay them a little more money than what they're making on their own. And then you're going to have the same fucking rules all over again.
I have a friend that does a podcast, and they said, don't curse on it because we can get you sponsors. I'm like, why are you doing a fucking podcast?
Don't
if you
curse.
Can't curse. Yeah. If you don't curse, we can get you bigger sponsors.
What sponsor? They sponsor The Walking Dead, and I read the show. They have commercials. And they curse all the time.
Right. And there's a whole bunch of advertisers for the podcasters that don't mind the material. But you watch, the corporation's going to move in and start fucking up the podcast world next.
Yeah, it's becoming like a more and more boring world. Like podcasts seem to like there's like an edginess to them, and now you're just
nice.
Like, you got to walk on eggshells now.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're still getting away with a lot, but you watch. It's going to take a few years, but it's going to be the same nonsense. It really is.
Because the advertisers, it's like no one's not going to advertise because you say fuck. No one's going to walk away where you said fuck or shit.
Look,
maybe Gerber, but who cares?
We had Judy Golden here yesterday. She, our old company, CBS, has a podcasting network. Sam, I didn't even know about this. I really did. And they're getting some big names in there. But we know how they handle shit. So I'm sure they're going to start putting rules in place and editing and dumping out and all that crap. So it's already happening.
All the big radio companies are launching podcast networks that are strictly for podcasts.
Yeah, but they're going to get the guys that are really bringing in the people.
Yeah.
I guarantee they'll go after a Joe Rogan and Mark Maron, and everyone knows the big players.
But they all have rules.
They do already, right?
Or they'll do like, okay, do 2 podcasts a week, and on one you can curse, and on the other don't curse, so we can sell the one, and then you can still curse on the other. And
yeah, there was some advertising that wanted me to do it and said don't curse on that episode. I was like, I'm not doing it. It was like $250. I'm like, I don't need the $250.
Right?
Yeah, why not curse? I'm not going to buy that product. The guy selling it cursed.
Right?
What fucking idiots?
Can we at least get over cursing in our society? No one gives a fuck in the end. No one cares. We all
Anyone
curse.
that's going to download my nonsense is not going to care that I'm fucking cursing on it.
You curse in front of your kid?
No, but he hears it in songs. So.
I kind of do, and I'm not freaked out when it happens. I do tell him, you probably don't want to bring that word to school because they'll give you hell, but I don't freak out if he hears a curse.
What do you say?
What do you mean?
Like what kind of cursing do you do?
Fuck, a couple fucks in there. Okay. Never the cunts.
Oh, you got to throw a cunt in once in a while. Let him drop that one in first grade. They'll go fucking nuts. Dad said cunt.
Not a fan of that word for some reason.
Oh,
you're not?
Nah, I don't. That one's always seemed a bit harsh. I've used it, but
it's like when someone from like England says that it has a softness to it. But
I wish I could say it that way.
Yeah,
because you want to just hug that person
There's no
when they
soft
use
way
it.
for an American to say cunt.
It's okay to use it. That's just one that I'm like, I'd rather say twat.
Cunt just really sums it all up nicely.
Boy, yeah.
Cunt really brings it home, doesn't it?
What did Aunt used to say? It was like the atom bomb, and it stopped every argument or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no going anywhere from cunt.
No, it's done at that point. Nothing else needs to be said by either party.
Yeah. After cunt just knocking on the bedroom door, like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Don't call the cops.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
But then there's girls that don't care about cunt. Like that doesn't bother them. They're like, oh, please stop it. Like those are the fucking the hardcore ones that you drop cunt and it just means nothing to them.
Very, very, very true. What else is going on, Sam? First time on our show. I know you know Sam Roberts pretty well.
Yeah, I've done the same show a few times. No, I mean the same stuff. Been on the road and I did an awful gig on Sunday in Boca. It was humiliating.
What made it an awful gig?
What gig was it?
It's at this place called the Arts Garage.
I don't know that one.
It's supposed to be the hip venue in Boca, which doesn't mean much, you know?
Right.
It's just brutal. Yeah, it's one of the things where I was just like, yeah, I'm bombing. I got like 4 emails saying I didn't bomb. So I was like, all right, let me listen to the set. And I'm like, yeah, I fucking bombed. This is brutal.
Were you headlining it?
Yeah.
And it was your fault, or was it just a weird crowd?
I'll take some of the blame, but then, yeah.
Because sometimes it's just a weird crowd.
Yeah, it was just a bad. Everything about the gig was just terrible. You know.
How long did you have to do? How much time?
Well, so the lady said she would light me at 40, but she just left. So I looked at my phone, and it was at like an hour and 1. I was like, ugh.
You bombed for an hour and 1 minute?
I did a bit after that. Yeah. So
wow, you were trying to turn him around, huh?
Oh yeah.
Is that the worst thing you guys could do when you're in that moment?
It only stings for like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At what point did you, I always love, like, what point did you realize this is not salvageable?
About 15 minutes, probably.
15 minutes in?
Yeah.
With the other comics before you, did they do well or no?
It was just me. It was some woman.
Just you.
Some woman.
It was nobody, no other comics on the show.
Yeah, it was like a one-nighter, so she just introduced me, and that was that.
Why didn't you have open? I would always make sure there was an opener there.
I had no idea. I should look into these things more. I don't know. I was just like.
But were you tired? Did you blame yourself for this one, huh?
Totally. I mean, yeah, but it also, most of the people, so many people are so old, and when they're that old, I just feel bad for them because I'm like, I'm wasting your remaining time on Earth with my horse.
And that's
shit,
a hip room with just old people in Boca.
Yeah, I think that was the room there. That was the one that were like, this is the up and coming room. You know,
it would have been a lot better if you would have had a local comic do 10 minutes in front of you. Would have been a lot.
What local comic hangs in Boca though? You know?
There's a bunch of comics down there.
Find somebody.
Yeah, you find somebody.
Yeah. Somebody would have taken the stage
just
time.
to take the hit and the warming them up, and it's somebody to look. It does kind of help.
Yeah.
Do they know you or no?
The crowd now. I mean, maybe like 2 people knew me there. You know, no one knew me.
So it's just locals that they go to the comedy club, no matter who's there.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think it was just a thing it was like an event for them, you know. But
some New York comic Sam Morril comes down.
He's gonna really rip it up.
Yeah.
And just ate your dick, and you knew immediately. There's nothing worse when you know immediately this is gonna suck for the entire
I record all my shows on my iPhone, and I know as soon as I walk off stage, you hit stop, and if it's a bad set, I just fucking hit delete right off the bat. There's a lot of deletes.
You should save those. Those are fun, man. I love having bad sets on.
Well, I think it's more of if I don't do any new material. So my guy, there's really nothing back I can listen on. But yeah, a lot of times just hit I don't even want to listen to that. That's too painful.
Does it feel good to just hit that delete though?
Yeah,
just like it never happened. Nice. I like that.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than going through old sets just like randomly. And then you listen, you're like, why didn't I delete this one? This is brutal. You know?
Right.
Painful.
What'd you open with?
What'd I open with? I think I opened with that Ambien joke.
Oh, really?
I think so.
That's a great joke.
That's a good joke. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes they were just not. It's just not their type of comedy. I think they wanted like an Alan King type, you know. So. Did
you turn on them?
A little bit. I think at one point I said I would never commit suicide, but if I did, you'd make the note. I think that's what I said to them.
Nice. All right.
No one walked out?
They did. Yeah, people walked out.
They did.
Only like 5 people. It wasn't noticeable.
Out of how many?
There were like 150 there probably.
That's a lot of people to bomb in front of them.
I know.
That's a big bomb. In front of 30 or 20.
And especially an hour.
Yeah, it sucked.
Doing an hour.
It sucked.
And do you just live with that feeling until you hit the stage again?
Yeah,
where
totally.
You could then totally make it go away.
Yeah, sometimes people are like, the minute you get off stage, you're like, cheer up, I liked you. No, you got to give me like 10 minutes. It was just like over an hour of people hating me.
It works in radio too, and we have a bad show. It's with me until the next time we have a good one. Then I can finally go. Okay.
Do you really take it home at the end of the day?
Sometimes, yeah. They got to be really bad because there's ups and downs with every fucking show, but every once in a while you get a real stinker, and you just fucking and you just watch the clock. Like I got to get back in there and just erase.
Why do you keep looking at the clock today?
And now with Twitter, you hear about it immediately. Probably
they're actually pretty nice on Twitter.
No, they're wonderful. We've had nothing but good experiences with Twitter.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we do anything wrong?
Yeah, what the fuck? We love our Twitter people, right?
Some of them are pretty. I've heard some. There's nothing worse than when you hear a good criticism. You're like, ugh, that's accurate. I've heard enough of those too, man. I've read enough of those. You're like,
it's exactly the fear you have about yourself, and they nailed it.
Oh, they hit that one on the fucking head. That does happen too.
Yeah. But in general, they're just way off fucking base with their shit. They're just shitty people.
You can tell if they never compliment anything. Like there's be a segment on the show that's really good,
right?
And if it's still belly aching, then you're like, okay, that person's just being a cunt. But then if they like certain segments, and then the ones they don't like, I kind of question. I'm like, yeah, I mean,
right. Well, yeah, I could help the hater out. You know, when a segment is going really well, that's not the time to try to make it like it was the worst thing you ever heard. Wait for a segment that obviously was really bad, and then hit us, and then it'll hurt.
Yeah,
because we're professionals. We know. Sometimes you're just in the zone. You know it works. I don't need to ask anyone around here. I don't have to ask my family or look on Twitter. You just know that you were in the zone for that particular segment. Leave those alone. Trust me.
Yeah.
Wait till we suck, and then you fucking hit us with a good one. So,
were you scared at all when that shit was happening? Like when the weight's coming down on you?
Yeah, because I had not even done like a late night set or anything at that time. I remember my manager. They asked me to do something with Kumail Bell's show too, and she's like, "You've never even done a late night set. You want to be known for this?" So that's what made me a little scared. I was like, "Oh, I wish this happened like a couple years later, where I was a little more prepared."
So you turned it down?
Yeah, yeah. I think she was right to talk me out of it.
Now a couple years later, it's no big deal. Everyone has moved on, right?
Everything. Well, at the time, you're just like. And also, some comics you think you're cool with, you like, they like turn on you a little bit.
Right.
Like a couple people would write stuff. I remember one of them kind of stung. Some comic I thought I was kind of cool with. He's like, "Yes, fellow comedian, your joke was clever, but don't you want to use your powers for good?"
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, what a
Who said
shitty
that?
thing." I don't even want to say his name on the show, but it was a shitty thing to say.
Right.
And and then you're just like, "Oh, I see." I'm usually pro comic unless it's like insane. Even then, I'm like, I'm not going to gang up on someone.
Right.
But in retrospect, it's a great experience for me to have as just an absolute nobody, because now it's like nothing really stings.
Right. What are the subjects that they're coming after you guys for these days? Rape is a big one now.
Race. Gender identity. Anything. Those are the main ones.
Those
I would
are
say
the three.
And,
yeah. Islam.
Gay stuff.
Yeah. You can bash Catholicism. You can bash men. You can bash, the president. More of he's a conservative president, but you can bash Obama pretty good.
Right.
But I would say that those are the main ones. Any type of rape joke, sexual crime joke.
Terrorism. Terrorism's an iffy one too, I think.
Yeah, it can be iffy. They don't usually come after you on mass, I guess is the word for that one.
So as comics, when you go down those roads, you got to make sure those jokes are really clever, right? You really got to have your shit together if you're going for a rape joke or a transgender type joke these days.
Dave Attell once, I heard, he said that like if you get a groan, you're close to a laugh. And I'd never thought of it like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So you're close to something. You know what else is interesting? I remember this is right when the Boston bombing happened. It was the same month. And I did a joke in that set about the Boston Marathon that was way more offensive than the rape joke, I think. But I think it was it was pretty silly, too. The joke was something like how upset it made me. I was like, me and my brother, we don't do anything together anymore.
Sorry.
So it's like that joke, like you can focus on how any of these are offensive, but they're just jokes. They're pretty silly. They're about the misdirect, and that one's kind of about me. It's more about me than the
Yeah, but just saying that and me laughing now, people are fucking mad in Boston. You know that. They are.
I did that joke in Boston when I went Boston. It did pretty well.
It did well?
Yeah.
That's a great joke.
That's a funny line, man.
But people get so up in arms about everything. Like, if someone's kind of offended by a joke, I'm like, oh, this might be an interesting joke angle to pursue,
Right.
I just saw an article today about Trevor Noah taking over the Daily Show, that they pulled all his tweets making Jewish jokes and say that he hates Jews.
Will
Will he be able to keep his job for the next 24 hours?
Who's pulling his jokes? Like, who goes back over your Twitter and pulls all your jokes? What
they
nudges?
listed every Jewish joke that he did on
What
there.
happened?
It's the world we live in, man.
Yeah. What nudges people are. Gawker, of course.
No, I don't know if it was. I saw it somewhere about the Jewish jokes, and will he have his job in 24 hours? And does Comedy Central approve of him?
Is this do they do a news piece on this, or these are just the tweets there, Sam?
Just the tweets.
Yeah, can you read a couple of these?
Messi gets they literally, this is from January 2012. Like, they went through all of his tweets.
3 years ago.
He writes, like, I'm watching Olympic women's hockey. It's like lesbian porn without the porn.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
I see.
Messi gets the ball. and then the real players try foul him, but Messi doesn't go down easy, just like Jewish chicks.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
he hates Jews.
It's a stereotype, isn't it? That's.
So what is the article saying? We understand the tweets. We've all seen a million of these tweets, and it doesn't bother us. But what's Gawker's angle on this?
Well,
what are they saying at the top of the article?
Gawker is saying that it's less offensive and more, they're just corny jokes.
Oh, okay.
I saw it, I think it was on Drudge Report.
Yeah.
Check that. That was the one where they were saying he's
anti-American, or
anti-American, anti-Jewish. He made an Israel joke or something about Israel.
Yeah.
So now they want to tear down these entertainers before they even start.
Sure. Yeah.
Usually they let you have a few years before they go, now we're done with you. Now it's time to tear you down.
He's huge, though. I mean, he's also had probably a much harder life than anyone writing.
Oh, yeah, we had him in. He was fascinating. Really, really an interesting guy.
Yeah, he grew up in apartheid, and he's fucking... He comes out and he gets a few jokes, and they're like, oh, this is terrible. How could he make fun? What assholes.
His mom and dad weren't even allowed to walk down the street together. So, like, his father would walk on the other side of the street, and his mom and him would walk on the other. It was a crazy life. And then he grows up in an area that has no comedy whatsoever, and he pretty much started the comedy scene in South Africa.
Yeah, that's the article, Sam.
Who wrote it?
What does it say there now?
Well, they said it was first... The Jewish Telegraphic Agency appeared to be the first media outlet to notice a disturbing tweet from Trevor Noah.
Okay.
South Africans know how to recycle like Israel knows how to be peaceful.
Okay.
Hey, good. It's a statement about he doesn't think maybe they disagree with something Israel did. So what?
Okay. And what else?
And then it said, late this evening, author and former conservative MP Louise Mensch found several more.
Oh, good.
Including, this is from 2012.
Almost 3 years ago. It's May of 2012, yes.
Behind every successful rap billionaire is a double as rich Jewish man, hashtag beats by dreidel.
It's funny.
That's a true statement.
Yeah.
He wrote, Xbox and PlayStation players are like Jews and Muslims. They are so similar, but they hate each other so much.
I don't see any anti-Semitism in
That's pretty harmless, too.
Yeah.
Right.
In 2009...
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Now they're going back 6 years.
He wrote, almost bumped a Jewish kid crossing the road. He didn't look before crossing, but I still would have felt so bad in my German car.
Yeah, it's a funny thing about driving a German car. Where's the anti-Semitism?
There's nothing here.
There's none.
These are tweets from a comic.
Nothing anti-Semitic about this.
Twitter's dangerous, too, because you read it in your annoyed tone if you're offended by it, you know?
Oh, that's a very good point.
You know, it's not like...
Right.
It's just in writing. You hear, there's no... Tone is so important for a joke. Also, don't people try out jokes, like a premise on Twitter sometimes? If I bomb something, I'll pull it. If it's like terrible, I'm like, it's not good. But if it's good, I'm like, oh, maybe that's something I could pursue, you know?
Let's go to John in Brooklyn. John, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Opie, you nailed it like 3 minutes ago when you said, unfortunately, this is the society we live in, because you know what? If he was a white comic and he made lighthearted jokes about blacks, Hispanics, Muslims, whatever, he would never even get a shot to host that show before he even started.
Well, he's half white to begin with. He's half black, I guess, 50-50.
Yeah.
And
they don't look at that stuff.
And
they look at it.
They didn't see these tweets before they hired him. I'm sure Comedy Central is in a slight panic over there today, knowing that this is popping up.
These are all so harmless, though, and it's...
They are.
It's a guy obviously being a comic, period. There's no doubt about it. So.
They won't fire him.
There's nothing hateful behind it, but unfortunately, we live in such a sensitive society right now. You know, if I don't hire you because you're not qualified, I'm white, you're black, I'm a racist. You're a comic, you make a joke about something topical, but if you're a white comic and it has to do with a black subject matter, you're a racist. In this case, he's making comments about jokes, nothing bad, like you said, nothing anti-Semitic about Jewish people, and now you've got the Jewish community saying he's anti-Semitic, and they're trying to cost him his job. It's ridiculous.
And then they list all the Jewish tweets like this is his thing on Twitter. I mean, they had to go all the way back to 2009 after going back to 2012, so they're just sprinkled in here with the rest of his comedy, obviously.
I would like to know how long it would take me to lose like if I got hired for some prestigious job.
Yeah.
How far back on my Twitter would they have to go?
have to go to Twitter.
A story was written.
All they have to do is type in Google Jim N. and then Norton piss shit.
Would be the options.
And it's over.
Would be the Google options.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to go back far.
All right.
Thanks for taking my call, guys.
All right. And then someone is asking if, oh, wow, maybe this is true because it's coming in a lot. Let me go to Jeff in Jersey. Jeff, go ahead.
Jeffy.
Yeah, on your show, when you guys interviewed Trevor Noah, he said that his mother converted to Judaism and that she was Jewish.
You know what?
He talked all about that and that he even respected it. I'm a Jew. I don't think there's any problem with any of the stuff he said.
You just shook a memory loose. You're absolutely right. I do remember him saying that, that she converted. You're absolutely right. So
I didn't remember that.
Is that in the article?
No, they don't make any mention.
Yeah, of course not, because it doesn't help their agenda and their story to push it forward. Doesn't it sort of make it even more? I think it should be okay no matter what, but doesn't it make it even more okay if your mom's Jewish?
There's nothing he said that was wrong.
Of course
literally not one. You can make fun of Jewish people. You can make fun of Catholics. You can make fun of the sex scandal. Anybody.
Right.
God, they just look for things. What an example, especially, I can see if he went back and he goes, what the fuck are the Jews doing? This is what they're writing about? These jokes?
A guy being a comic.
Read that last line, Sam, about will he have his job in 24 hours or something?
I just don't see a Comedy Central. I just don't see Comedy Central standing behind a host they have nothing invested in besides 8 hours of PR after they review that Jewish chicks tweet. Among the others. And of course, other examples are sure to appear in the next few hours. What do you think? Does Noah survive the day in his new job? Wow.
Survive the day.
The day.
He will survive. Because I'm telling you, he's a big fucking international act, and they're stupid if they fire him. They're just stupid.
They're obviously changing directions with that show by hiring him.
Yeah, they're right? Younger, too.
Yeah, I heard rumors about Brian Williams for a while.
That's from Brian Williams and his people. What's happening with him? Is his 6 months up yet?
No, not even close. It's probably been a month.
A couple months in, maybe?
I don't even think that far. I think it literally has probably been a little.
And I hear Lester's doing really well, so it's going to make it even harder to go back to Brian Williams.
They're going to fire him. They wanted to just give us some breathing room. There's no way they're bringing him back. I don't think.
You think just to save money?
Yeah, but I'm wrong about so much of this stuff. I'm wrong 80% of the time.
No, not really, Jimmy. You're not that wrong.
I think they should fire him.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just give him something else, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they try to push him over.
I thought comedy would have been perfect for him because his credibility's kind of shot. So now he can kind of play like, oh, no. And he clearly wants to be a comedian so badly, if you ever seen him.
He's hilarious on those late night shows. My God.
Is he a good guest? I've never watched him.
Anyway, everyone else thinks he's fucking brilliant, so who am I to say? Let's go to James in Ohio. James?
Yeah, hey, Opie. Listen, somebody should go through his timeline and see if he did Palestinian jokes. I don't think the Jewish community would be up in arms if he was doing Palestinian jokes or West Bank jokes.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that you have such isolated points of view that become so public. It's how many tweets in total? I mean, if you just looked at it as a percentile, if he has 2 million tweets and 4 of them are Jewish jokes, what's the percentage?
He doesn't have 2 million tweets, sir.
Well, I mean,
that's a lot.
Well, but you do make a pretty good point because they had to go back to 2012, and then they had a couple from 2012, and then they had to go all the way back to 2009 to get even more dirt on this guy. So you're kind of right. They're just kind of sprinkled in there.
Just some asshole poring over these, some nudge.
It's the saddest detective work on the planet.
Really?
He's got just under 9,000 tweets total. So, and I think we read 4 Jewish jokes, right? Something like that. 4 Jewish.
So I don't have a calculator, but do the math.
Joke tweets.
It's not a lot.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And he did a Ferguson joke about it being like South Africa. So what? That's what a comic's making an observation. What's the fucking problem?
Yeah, they hired a comic. They understand that this guy's going to have a little edge to him.
People seem less concerned with like busting actual racism or hatred, and just like it's like an undercover sting or something. You know, it doesn't feel like it's like, well, that's not real racism. Clearly, it's someone trying to be funny.
Right?
Why is not taken into account at all?
That's a very good question that we try to answer on this show every fucking day.
Yeah,
they ignore that fact that here's a guy just trying to be funny on his Twitter. And then you can say, well, I didn't find that funny. That's fine. But to make believe that he wasn't going for a joke is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Of course he's going for a joke.
You're on Red Eye tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
I was on last night.
Oh, how did it go, Jimmy?
It was great. It was really fun. And interesting thing about it is like Fox gets such a bad rap. Like people are like, oh, Fox, blah. But when you're on, they're pretty lenient with what you say, at least on that show. I mean, CNN never put me on, let me say that stuff. MSNBC never did.
Right.
And Fox is bigger than both of them, and they're whether you like their politics or not, I get it if you don't like it.
Right.
But they get an unfair rap with certain things because I wound up being fairly uncensored content-wise on that show.
It's interesting you brought up CNN. I forgot to mention this. Trevor Noah, when they were discussing him on CNN yesterday, they were sort of rolling their eyes. They were being very passive-aggressive about this hire by Comedy Central. And then they went to break with like an Ebola joke that he had. But the anchor was sort of rolling her eyes like, this is the guy. But she wasn't brave enough to actually say it. She's like, it was just her body language and stuff. Like, oh, look, we're going to show you the guy they just hired at Comedy Central. And then it was an Ebola joke that was brutal but funny.